The date has passed. It was December 19th, 2025. This was the day the whole world waited for, but everyone relaxed too early. The world watched as the object called ThreeI Atlas flew by and seemed to do nothing. There was no alien army and no loud messages. It just moved silently past us at 270 million kilometers away. But if you think the story is over, you are missing the newest reports. The news reporters are leaving, but the space scientists are starting to worry and plan. What if this object is not just a visitor passing through? What if it is actually a vehicle? The smartest scientists on Earth are now talking about how to catch it. They do not want to just look at it, they want to ride on it. Welcome back to the show. Today we are looking at new data from the last 2 days. We have new radio scans and a new size estimate that changes everything we know about physics. We also have a plan from Loeb at Harvard that sounds like a movie, but might be our only way to leave our solar system. If you want to see what humans do next, make sure you subscribe. You really need to see the updates about the Jupiter meeting coming in March. First, let's talk about the big thing everyone is ignoring. Let's talk about the flyby. December 19th came and went. The object passed at a safe distance where people could not see it with their eyes. People who didn't believe in aliens said it was just a boring rock. They said it was just a stone. It did not stop or send a signal. It just kept moving. But that movement is exactly why scientists like Professor Loeb are so excited. He is the man who first said the object, Oumuamua, might be a machine, and he just finished a new study. He is no longer just asking what the object is. He is asking how we can use it. His newest idea is very bold. He says that objects like ThreeI Atlas are not just rocks to look at. He thinks they are like buses or trains for space. Think about the Voyager space probes. We sent Voyager 1 and 2 into space almost 50 years ago. They are the fastest things humans have ever made. Even so, they have barely moved at all compared to the size of space. It would take them 30,000 years to reach the closest stars. That is a very long time. Human life might not even exist by then. But ThreeI Atlas is moving at 60 kilometers every single second. It is leaving our solar system much faster than any rocket we have ever built. Loeb's idea is very simple. Why should we build a slow ship when a fast one is already passing us? He wants to use ThreeI Atlas like a big space truck to carry our things. If we can catch it, we could attach a small probe or a message to it. If we hitch a ride on this object, we could reach deep space by the year 10,000. That is still a long time, but it is 3 times faster than our current probes. It saves us 20,000 years of travel time. This idea is very personal to Loeb. He said he would give his own DNA to be carried out into the galaxy on this visitor. It is a beautiful idea to travel the stars after you die. However, it brings up a very hard math problem. How do you catch a space train moving at 60 kilometers per second? We cannot just land on it. That is not easy at all. Our current rockets are not strong enough to match that high speed. But Loeb says we do not actually have to land. We could use a very strong laser to carve a message onto it as it flies past. It would be like a tattoo on an alien ship. Or we could build a tiny, fast ship that crashes into it and sticks like a bug on a car. This changes how we think about space. We are not just looking at these objects as scary things or science puzzles. We are looking at them as tools we can use. But before we pack our bags, we need to know what this train is made of. The newest information is very confusing. A new paper was just written about how big ThreeI Atlas really is. For months, people have argued about its size. Is it a flat piece of rock or a round ball? Is it a giant ship hiding inside a cloud of dust? Scientists looked at how the object moves without using gravity. They think the middle part is only about 1 kilometer wide. 1 kilometer is actually very small. It is much smaller than the giant asteroids that could destroy a city. But there is a big problem with this. A small 1 kilometer rock should not act the way ThreeI Atlas acts. The paper says that to make all the dust and gas we see, a small rock would have to be melting very fast. It would be disappearing right before our eyes. Other scientists are already pointing out the mistake in the old theory. They say a tiny rock cannot make that much trash. If it were a normal ball of ice, it would have broken into pieces by now. It would fall apart because of the heat and pressure. But the object is staying together perfectly. This means one of two things is true. Either it is made of something very strong that can handle the stress, or the gas coming out is not natural. If it is a machine, a 1-kilometer ship is huge. That would be a giant starship. The gas we see would actually be engine exhaust. Let's talk about that exhaust. People were scared that ThreeI Atlas was dropping poison on us. We know the gas cloud has cyanide in it. Cyanide is a very deadly poison. Loeb talked about this in a report asking if the space dust would hit Earth. The good news is that it probably won't. The wind from the sun protects us. This solar wind blows the gas and dust away from our planet. Loeb says tiny particles get pushed away instantly. Big rocks are so rare that they probably won't hit us. So we won't be poisoned by the comet's tail unless something else is happening. Loeb added one scary thought. This only works if the objects cannot steer themselves. If the dust is actually tiny robots, the solar wind does not matter. They can fly wherever they want. This leads us to the radio silence. We have been listening for any sounds. A group of telescopes spent 7 hours pointing right at ThreeI Atlas in July. They were looking for radio signals from aliens. They found 74 million signals. Do not worry, because that is a normal amount. The sky is always full of radio noise. We have signals from phones, GPS and satellites. The scientists have to clean up the noise. They took out all the signals they already knew about. They were left with 2 and 1 signals. These signals came from the object and did not match any normal noise. They looked at the shapes of the signals. They decided that none of them were worth following. They called the signals noise and moved on. But look at the power level they found. They said if there is a radio on ThreeI Atlas, it is very weak. It is only as strong as a light bulb. If ThreeI Atlas is talking, it is whispering. It is not shouting to the whole world. It is using a very thin beam of power. Why would an alien probe use such low power? It might be trying to save batteries or hide from us. If you are a spy probe, you do not make a lot of noise. You send quick, quiet bursts of data to a helper ship. Where is that helper ship? Remember where ThreeI Atlas is going next? It will be at Jupiter on March the 16th, 2026. The object is going to get very close to the biggest planet. It will be 53 million kilometers away. If ThreeI Atlas is a spy that finished looking at Earth, Jupiter is the best place to send its data. Jupiter has a huge magnetic field. It acts like a giant natural antenna. We might have missed the signal on Earth because it was not for us. It was meant for a space network. So, where are we now? The object has passed Earth. It is still in one piece and moving fast. It is not talking on the radio channels we use. But the story has changed. We are not just watching a rock anymore. We are watching a way to leave our world. We are watching a mystery that does not follow the rules of science. We are watching it head toward a planet that could hide a big secret. In the next part, we will look at Jupiter. We will see why scientists are suddenly so interested in this mission. Stay here, the ride is just starting. Let's talk about Jupiter, because that is where the end begins. On March 16, 2026, ThreeI Atlas will fly by the giant planet. Scientists call this a slingshot move. The object uses Jupiter's gravity to throw itself out of the solar system even faster. But for a strategist, this looks like a meeting. Why? Because Jupiter is the main crossroads of space. If you want to go in or out of our system, you use Jupiter. Its gravity is like a highway ramp. ThreeI Atlas is hitting that ramp with perfect aim. The new data proves the date and the distance. 53 million kilometers is the gap. In space, that is actually very close. It is close enough to feel the planet's strong magnetic power. It is close enough to be hit by radiation. This brings us back to the size of the object. If ThreeI Atlas is really only 1 kilometer wide, it is like a tiny needle. Hitting that small window at Jupiter requires perfect steering. It came from above, dove past the sun, missed Earth, and is now aiming for Jupiter. If it were just a dumb rock, that would be a very lucky shot. But we know it is pushing itself. The fact that it is speeding up is the main clue. The new paper proves this is happening. The object is moving faster than gravity can explain. The official guess is that gas is shooting out of it. They think ice is turning into gas and acting like a rocket. But remember the big problem. A small 1-kilometer rock should not have enough ice to push that hard. So what if the push is on purpose? If ThreeI Atlas is a machine, it is using its engines right now. It is changing its path to hit the March 16th window perfectly. Why would it do that? Maybe it is not just leaving, maybe it is meeting something else. We have robots at Jupiter right now. The Juno mission is there. A European ship called JUICE is on the way, but it is not there yet. But Juno is working right now. NASA says Juno cannot track fast objects from other stars. Its camera is for taking pretty pictures, not for high-speed tracking. They are telling us not to expect much. They say we won't get a close-up photo. But do you really think they will turn the cameras off? If an alien ship flies by our biggest planet, they will definitely be watching. There is a theory that the radio silence was not total silence. Remember the light bulb power level? If ThreeI Atlas sends a weak signal, we cannot hear it from Earth, but Juno is right there next to it. If ThreeI Atlas sends a message to Jupiter, Juno will hear it. This is why people are talking about using it for transport. Loeb wants to hitch a ride because he knows the object is leaving. We cannot stop it. So, we should try to tag it. But there is a scarier way to look at this. What if we are not the ones supposed to ride it? What if ThreeI Atlas came here to pick something up? We talked about the dust and the poison it might have dropped, but a transport ship can also take things away. It can drop off a package and pick up a sample. The object came deep into our solar system. It got very close to Earth. It touched our solar wind. It took samples of our dust. Now, it is speeding away. If it took data or samples from our air, that information is leaving us forever. This is why scientists want to chase it. They have wanted to chase these objects for years, but the first one, Oumuamua, is already too far away. ThreeI Atlas is still here, but time is running out. To catch it, we would need to launch a rocket right now. We do not have a rocket ready to go. So, using lasers to send a message might be our only choice. It is a last-ditch effort to say, we are here. We want to write our names on the side of the train, but where is the train going? After Jupiter, it goes into the dark. It passes Saturn, Pluto, and the edge of our system. New math shows it is heading toward a group of stars called the Hyades. Specifically, it is going to a star called Epsilon Tauri. Why go there? Epsilon Tauri is a giant star. It has a huge ring of rocks and dust around it. It is a place with a lot of building materials. If you were building a space highway, that star would be a main station. It would be a construction yard. ThreeI Atlas might be a drone on a delivery run. It flies by us to use our gravity and scan our life. Then it heads back to the main station. We are just like ants watching a big truck drive past on the road. But there is one more strange thing in the data. The paper about its size mentions something odd. It says the object is throwing off big chunks of itself. These are fragments, not just gas. The object is not just venting steam. It is dropping pieces. The scientists think these are just pieces of ice. But if this is a transport ship, what if those pieces are passengers? What if ThreeI Atlas is a giant carrier ship that just launched a group of smaller ships? If those pieces are drones, they would not be leaving. They would be slowing down. They would use the push to stay here in our solar system. We are watching the big ship leave. We are saying goodbye to the mother ship. But we should be looking for the small boats it left behind. If there are small 1-meter objects, they would be very hard to see. They would be dark and cold. They would hide in spots where gravity is balanced. The big ship being quiet makes sense if its job is done. It dropped the package and is going home. But the package might be waking up right now. In the next part, we will talk about these fragments. We will look at why people are seeing strange meteors and satellite problems. If Loeb is right, this ship did not come here empty. Don't go away. Let's talk about the fragments. The science paper says, ejection of fragments to explain why the object sped up. They think it is just ice breaking off. But look at when it happened. These pieces fell off right when the object was closest to Earth. If you wanted to drop off sensors or seeds, that is the perfect time. You use gravity to spread your cargo. Now look at the news from the last 2 days. Have you seen the reports of meteor showers? Scientists say it is just a normal event, but the timing is wrong. These new fireballs look different. They are slow and orange. They are entering our air at an angle that shows they are following Earth. That means they are in the same path as us. If ThreeI Atlas dropped a group of objects, they are floating near us right now. Some are falling down, but others are staying up there. Reports are coming from pilots about GPS problems. Pilots over the ocean say their signals are disappearing. Starlink satellites are feeling a strange pull. SpaceX is not talking, but the data is public. Something is pulling on things in high altitude. Something is there that was not there last month. Is it just dust or the poison cloud, or is it something active? If the pieces are machines, they might be connecting to our internet. They might be the mission we failed to launch. This brings us back to the idea of life spreading through space. The gas cloud had the building blocks of life in it. Avi says the wind will blow the small stuff away. But what if the stuff is inside a shell? If you wanted to plant life on a planet, you would send a protected box. You would send something that can survive the heat of falling. The orange fireballs people see might not be burning up. They might be heat shields for landing. We need to stop thinking this is just a quick visit. A visitor just takes a photo and leaves. This feels more like a plane spraying a field. We are the field. Now let's look at what the governments are doing. They are not talking much. The plan has changed from chase the comet to defend the Earth. The new plans talk about hitting the object with a weapon. They want to hit it very hard. Why would you hit a rock that is already leaving? You would only do that to stop it from talking. If ThreeI Atlas is sending our secrets to another star, letting it reach Jupiter is a mistake. Once it gets to Jupiter, it can broadcast our data to the whole galaxy. So, the plan might be to destroy the messenger. But how do we do that? We cannot catch it with a normal rocket because it is too fast. The only thing fast enough is a laser. Loeb wanted to use a laser to say hello. But a laser that strong can also be a weapon. It can melt the object or break its eyes. There are rumors that a giant laser project is being changed. Instead of pushing ships, it is being used to aim at the object. We might be seeing the first space war. We are shooting at the ship that Loeb wants to ride. Think about how strange that is. It is the greatest discovery ever made. It is a bridge to the stars. But we want to burn it because we are afraid of the neighbors. But there is a big risk if we shoot. If we break it, do we trigger a backup plan? Remember the pieces it left behind. They are still here in our sky. They are in our air. If we attack the mothership, do the small drones attack us? We might be hitting a beehive while we are standing inside it, and the clock is moving. March 16, 2026 is the final day. That is when ThreeI Atlas reaches the Jupiter radio station. If the government is going to act, they have to do it soon. We are in a quiet war. It is a war between wanting to explore and wanting to stay safe. Loeb wants to send his DNA to space. The military wants to make sure space stays away from us. In the middle of this, we have glitches and fireballs. I want you to watch the sky tonight. Do not look for the big comet because it is gone. Look for the slow orange meteors. If your phone or internet stops working, do not think it is just a mistake. It might be the fragments waking up. In the last part, we will look at the star Epsilon Tauri. Why that star? What is waiting there for the ship? What happens if the message actually gets home? If ThreeI Atlas is a transport ship, it will eventually come back. Next time, it won't just fly past us. Stay alert and keep watching. Finally, let's talk about the destination called Epsilon Tauri. Why go there? Why is this object traveling for thousands of years to hit that one spot? Epsilon Tauri is not a normal star. It is a giant orange star that is starting to die. It is 146 light years away from us. It has a giant planet that is much bigger than Jupiter. More importantly, it is very old. That star group is 625 million years old. That is plenty of time for a smart civilization to grow and move away. If your star was dying and eating your planets, what would you do? You would build a way to leave. You would send out probes to find new homes and new life to use. ThreeI Atlas is going back to that star. It is finishing a long trip. Think of it like a bee going back to its home. It went out and found a flower, which is Earth. It took the nectar, which is our data and DNA. Now it is flying home to tell the others where the food is. This is where Avi Loeb's idea gets scary. He wants to tell the universe, we are here. But what if the message ThreeI Atlas carries is not a friendly hello? What if it is a map for hunters? If the ship is taking samples back home, then they will know about us soon. They will know our defenses and our bodies. They will know how to beat us. The transport system might be for us, but not in a good way. Maybe the next ship will be a giant fleet coming to get us. But let's try not to be afraid for a moment. Let's look at the chance we have. Avi Loeb is right about one thing. We are stuck on this planet. Space is too big for our slow rockets. Our lives are too short to travel that far. If there is a space highway, we have a choice to make. We can hide, or we can shoot at it. We can try to break the bridge, or we can try to walk across it. If we catch a piece of the ship, we might learn how the engine works. We might find a map of the stars. We might find out that the galaxy is full of life, and we have just been hiding in the corner. The strange things in our air might not be an attack. Maybe they are an invitation to join the group. Maybe the pieces are waiting for us to be smart enough to talk to them. The test is not about whether we can blow up the rock. The test is whether we can understand it. So what happens next? March 16th, 2026 is the big day at Jupiter. If the government shoots, we will see a bright flash in the sky. It will be brighter than Jupiter for a second, and then it will be over. But if they listen, we might get an answer. It won't come tomorrow or next year, but the link will be made. For now, we have the dust and the orange fireballs. We have the seeds falling on our world right now. Maybe the transport is already here. Maybe the passengers are already walking among us. Maybe they are what we will become in the future. I will keep watching the pieces in the sky. I will listen for the signal from Jupiter. I will be here to tell you if the world is ending or just beginning. If you want to be part of this, hit the subscribe button. Turn on your alerts because the signal's getting louder. You need to be ready when the message is finished. This is ThreeI Atlas, and it is not done with us yet. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and keep looking at the stars.